Hi and welcome to this DCP web tutorial. In today's tutorial I'm going to show you how to install Blender 2.9. So let's go ahead and open up the web browser, and I'm on Google here, so we're going to type in Blender 3D. So just type in Blender 3D and you go to blender.org. Let's click on here, and here you'll see the latest version Blender 2.9 is here. Let's click the download Blender 2.9 button here. So when we click that button, what the website is going to do is detect what operating system I'm running. So I'm running Windows 10, so it's giving me the option to download Windows 10 if I the installer for Windows 10 if I click this blue button here. Underneath you can see other versions. So if you want to download it for Mac or Linux or some other version, then you can see it down here as well. Normally the browser will detect what version of operating system you're running. So if you're running Mac, it will say Mac installer here, or Mac OS installer, for example. Let's go ahead and click this blue button to download Blender, and it should automatically start to download. Here you can see it's downloading. It's 161 megabytes, so it takes a little bit of time to download. But while it's downloading, I'm going to open up this folder on my desktop, and we'll just wait for the installation file to download. So here it's downloaded. I'm going to drag and drop that into this folder. We can close down the web browser now, and we've got this one file sitting here inside of this folder. So the file's been scanned by my Norton's antivirus, and you can see this nice green tick here saying that it's safe to install. So we know we've got a good version here. Let's go ahead and double click on the Blender file to start the installation. And here's a little splash screen. So we just click next, and we say that we accept the terms. There's no fees for this software, so it's free to use, but you just have to accept their terms. If you want to read it, you can read it, but let's just click next, and you can decide where you want to install the software. So I'm going to install it on the C drive program files, so it's easy to uninstall later. If I ever want to uninstall it, I'll click next, and then I'll click install. We just need to wait for it to install, and it's going to start that process now. Okay, we're good to go. So let's go ahead and click finish. As default, it's going to put an icon on my desktop. As you can see, my desktop's pretty clean. I don't like icons and stuff on there, so I'm just going to drag and drop that into the recycle bin. I'll start this menu up here, and we can drag and drop this onto the tiles here, so we've got access to Blender here. I'm also going to right click on this tile, go to more, and then I'm going to pin it to my taskbar. So I'll have a copy of it that I can access from here. Normally I drag it across here to about here in the middle of the screen. We can click it down here, or we can go to the start menu, click Blender here, or click it here, so we can access it from 3 different locations. Let's go ahead and load up Blender. Let's make sure everything is working correctly. And here we can see Blender 2.9, so this is the latest version. There's a few different options when you start up. So here it's asking me the language, so you can pick a different language if you want to select a different language. You've got the Blender shortcut keys, and you've got like old versions of Blender shortcut keys if you're used to them. We'll leave it on the default Blender. Select with left mouse button. On older versions of Blender you used to have to select with the right mouse button, and I prefer to select with left, so I'm going to leave it that way. The space bar is the player. You can select tools or search, but we'll leave it as all default settings. And here you've got options to change the color scheme, right? So if you don't like the dark color scheme, if you prefer a different color scheme, just maybe you can see things a bit easier, but I like to leave it on the dark one. I kind of like this dark theme. And then all we do is go ahead and click save new settings here. So we'll click that, and then we get options here. So you've got general, 2D, sculpting, VFX, video editing, and you've got access to the manual here. So I'd advise you go and have a little browse of the manual. Normally I don't read manuals very much, but sometimes when you need to learn certain things, it's worth having a look at the manual. But 99% of the time you're going to click on general here, general. So we'll click general. We can see the viewport is all working. I'm going to be making lots more new tutorials for Blender 2.9. You can go to my YouTube channel. You can see a lot of tutorials for older versions of Blender, but they still work perfectly fine with 2.9. They should do. So you can, I'll put a link in the YouTube description actually. So let's just add a quick, let's just see if we can add something here quickly just to make sure it's all working correctly. We'll add a little cylinder here. So everything seems to work fine. We can just test the render view. Let's just make sure everything is working correctly. So yeah, it all seems to be working fine. So let's go ahead and close down Blender. This was just a short tutorial showing you how to install the software. If you want to check the YouTube description, I'll put some links to some more in-depth tutorials where you can go and create 3D text and animations and lots of good stuff. And there'll be lots of nice tutorials for you to go and follow and learn a lot more about Blender 3D as well. And I'll be making some more tutorials on Blender 2.9 specifically. Okay, I hope you find this tutorial useful, and I look forward to seeing you in the next DCP web tutorial.